This was going to be a bit personal because it's regarding something that's very important to me. A lot of people say that drugs are bad, but I'm not sure if that's the case because psychedelics, for example, that they think that they are dangerous, they just let you see things that are in your mind already. It makes you create things through your imagination. It makes you be aware of certain things that otherwise you wouldn't be aware of because of all the marketing and publicity that we are subject to every day. And I think that's where the disconnect starts, right? When you notice that everything that's been trying to be sold to you is somehow deterring you away from whatever you are intended to be, and not by any kind of religious idea or morality or anything like that, but who you actually enjoy being, what you actually enjoy doing. And I'm not sure if smoking marijuana was the catalyst for it, but it actually helped. I was not sure also if it was something that I already had in me, or if something that marijuana woke up in me, or if it's something that I was trying to conciliate in my mind, but I wasn't able to because again, publicity and marketing and all those things and fads and fashion and all that kind of distract you in an important way. So it was that actually eventually made me wanted to make that record, right? But we'll talk about that another time. So again, I'm not sure if MJ gave me the ability to think things through because I already was thinking about those things, or if it was something that it let me learn because of those things. I'm not sure how it works. Some say that drugs are not for everybody, and I tend to disagree. I'm a firm believer that we have this big brain thanks to those plants and those fungi. Maybe that's not the way that things happen, but it's the most logical, according to some evidence and to what we are able to obtain whenever we use them, right? I've learned about experiences, and I'm also going to talk about mine as well. But I've learned about experiences in which people say that a single microdose or a single joint or a single trip was what made them see what God was. And it was that fast, and comparing it to the years that sometimes we spend trying to go to churches and to get advice from religious people and what they call themselves leaders, and we don't understand what God is, right? I'm not a believer in God. I don't think that there's something that we can define as God except for the universe, which is the creation of all things, right? And that's what it is. It's we're birthed from there. It's our mother, it's our father, our creator. Everything comes from explosions and from chaos and from huge distances and Goldilocks zones and a lot of movements that had to happen in order for life to happen. And we're lucky enough to have found plants that enable us to actually understand that logic, right? It's no longer a matter of someone creating it like snapping their fingers and that's it, or through magic, right? That I think that's the way that we try to explain things to a child. But we kept it as dogma, and we kept it as something that was unquestionable. And now we have this problem in which those kind of ideas, instead of allowing us to learn what life is, they're just limiting our experiences with rules that don't even apply to us anymore. And I'm gonna be talking mostly about the Catholic religion, but it's with all the religions that exist, Christian or not. They tend to all of them are or have in their hands the truth, right? Their sacred books have that truth, which is what again MJ allowed me to realize, which is what is the value of life? What is the meaning of it? There's no meaning of it. I tend to be nihilistic about the meaning of life because it's none. To me, it's none. it makes no sense that we're alive, that we're able to, not that we're alive, because we could be monkeys, right? Still, apes that are just go around and fight amongst each other and eat and fuck and just do things to keep the colony safe, right? And we could be that, but we're not. We actually developed this enormous brain, this great brain, this the most greatest brain that has ever existed. And thanks to those kind of rules, thanks to those kind of magical ideas and all the negative things that are trying to teach you something, and instead we're using them as justification to act like assholes because the Bible says it, right? So I'm going to focus on that religion. But again, every single religion is the same way because they have the truth in their hands through those books. They're supposed to be read and understood in the way that allows us to progress, right? Not divide ourselves. Why are we fighting over which God is right or not? Which one has a bigger dick than the other one? It's the same God. It's the same thing. It's the same idea. It's the same universe. We come from the same universe. It makes no sense. That's the point number 2. It makes no sense that we're actually conscious about it. And point number 3 is that we are wasting it all. We have the biggest brain that has ever existed, and I wonder if it's going to be a chance that we can prove that that's the case by actually being the civilization that we say that we are. Because right now we're not. Right now we're letting religions be used for political and violent purposes. But I think we're better than that, right? I think we're in an age right now where which we are not supposed to be depending on violent idiots taking over our resources and the administration of our taxes so they can do their bidding, so that they can get wealthier, and so they can create wars to have their friends be able to sell guns, right? And to trade, do insider trading and all those kind of things. So we're letting those kind of people, the ones that use the brain as little as possible. They can be very smart. They can be very professional and have a career and have years of experience. But if they're not noticing what life is about, they're just contributing to the decrement of society. Because accumulation leads nowhere to something good, never to something good. And we've proven it time and time again. It's been in history. A lot of times people hoard things. People hoard power, hoard influence, and what happens in the end, it goes down. It just collapses because it's not sustainable to let a couple of guys or a couple of greedy, loveless, scared little children make decisions that will enable them to have more and more and more and more, but it's never enough for them. And that's one of the things that the religion is doing wrong, right? According to my point of view, and I'm not sure if you agree, but religions are being used in not to let you learn about what life is about or why it's important for you to live, or explain us why not fearing death is important. Yeah, we're gonna get scared about not being here anymore, right? But when you understand what life is about and you start enjoying it, then it becomes about the enjoyment, about the moment, about living and feeling it and talking and smiling and having those feelings inside be a nurture source for your soul, for your intention in life. The people that I've got to know and that I've learned about in reports and life stories and all that are the people that are in tune with that part of life, that they enjoy what they do, they enjoy who they are, they enjoy who they are with, and they enjoy their they create a good purpose for themselves and they follow it and they are happy and they smile and that comes to be and what happens is that they are happy that they got to live this experience, and it's if it's time to go, then it's fine. And you don't have to expect a better thing after your death to be a good person and enjoy this life and actually make heaven out of this experience instead of the hell that we continue on putting ourselves through, because we tend to believe that religion is 100% true and your religion is wrong, my religion is right. That's what they teach us with those intentions. institutionalized religions are very damaging to the human experience in that regard. I've also known people who are very religious who actually read their books and who are in tune with that purpose, because that's what the book is trying to tell you. If you take man's ego, the people who actually wrote the books, you take their ego out, you'll be left with the truth, which is only very, very simple. Love yourself, love others, progress as a society, because you're here to experience a life. You're not here to comply with anybody else's purpose or with anybody else's wants or anybody else's wishes of what your life should be. And religion is a big part of that kind of social blackmail, right? They tend to make you believe that things are supposed to be done in a certain way, but it's rules that are already expired according to our knowledge, according to our expectation of what life is, according to our practices being better than before. So we're able to clean things better. We're able to make things happen in a more hygienic way and in a more purposeful way. And we are able to now live up to 70, 80, 90, 100 years. And the people, again, no matter how much life you get to experience, how much time you get to experience here, but the people who actually enjoy that experience are the ones that die happy every single time. I made a thorough analysis, and that's almost the totality of people who are like that, right? And those people are also religious people, because they understand the meaning of those books. So they enjoy their life and they actually live it according to some of those rules, but some of them don't make sense. And those people who are actually happy are able to learn that those rules don't make sense. So it's more about man's ego, the guys who actually wrote them, than by actual mandate of God. There's no way that a God would allow a child to be raped and then you just go to their parents and you're set. You can marry that child. There's no other way than by actually being a man writing a book that you have that kind of desire and you wish to have a child be your wife, and so you make it dogma and you make it something unquestionable because God did it, or God said it's okay. That's why there's instructions on the books also on how to treat your slave, how to punish your wife and your children, how to actually punish your slaves and all that thing. It's fucking annoying, and it's sad that we keep on giving those books that kind of importance, right? I mean, the truth is there, but we're using it like the worst case scenario. We're doing that because we're accustomed to ugly and loveless people taking over things and telling us what's right and what's wrong and what history was and according to their eyes, not by actually what happened, but what they think that happened to make themselves look good. That's why I don't believe in kings and in any of those sort of chosen by God kind of deals, because it's just people's ego trying to be more than somebody else or trying to deserve more than somebody else, and it's annoying, it's sad, it's something that is not helping anybody. Look at what the white and blue country is doing right there in the Middle East. It's causing chaos and all to be able to take over other people's land and it's all of our lands, yeah, but why are you trying to take over it? They gave you a way to remain as together as possible for a long time, and then you started kicking them out of their own homes, and it's you do remember what they did to you, right? In the 40s, 1940s? It's impossible to think that there's no empathy there. And it's unchecked ego. That's what MJ allowed me to see in a simpler way, right? In simpler words, to be myself so that I don't have to depend on unchecked ego to make decisions for me that will only make me go crazy or make me go sad or make me go remorseful of actions that are no longer reversible or no longer able to be changed, because you already made those decisions, and some decisions are forever. Some of them are not, but The important ones are the ones that tend to be more difficult and also have the more lasting impact. And MJ allowed me to see that as well. It opened up my eyes to that possibility of not everything being how we say that it is, because we made the rules, because we give things value, because we make up gods and use them to pursue personal goals of greed and envy and jealousy and stupidity and basically disregard for the human experience of others, right? Because if you have enough, if you have more than you need, or if you have overly exaggerated amounts of wealth, then you're good. So you don't need to pay your fair amount of taxes. You don't need to share your wealth. You don't need to provide your workers with good salaries so that they can live happy lives. You don't have to do any of that. You have to accumulate, to hoard, which otherwise is a mental illness when we are talking about magazines or pee or poo or any other thing that you accumulate in your home, right? So it ends up being that. And learning that allowed me to make difficult decisions more often, but actually make the right choice, as difficult as it could be. Even stop speaking to some people that are very important to me, very close to me, just because they don't understand that they can't control an experience that is not their own. So they try to force you into looking things their way, no matter what. And that's not the way that you that you can live, right? Again, you can see it. I'm going to talk about music a bit because I love music. So I was a big fan of pop music when I was very young. And I see how they were children and they were forced to in some songs, right? Not all of them, but they are forced to comply with certain rules and certain formulas and certain expectations of what your music should sound like and should be like. So they leave you out of the equation, and you end up being a singer of other people's songs, and you end up turning your life over to those kind of things, and it's a waste. Because no matter how hard they try, I always see them like depressed or anxious or talking in these accents that make them feel like part of an elite or some kind of a people with money, right? If you speak like this, and you obviously have money and you have importance and you have influence, right? So they turn into that, an empty thing that just is whatever others expect of them. They never are themselves because they are not able to actually bring out what they have inside through their songs. And I'm not saying every single one of them, because again, some of them do enjoy that, do enjoy only singing for to sing other people's music, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't have that intention. A lot of them want to be famous on their own right and actually have their name in the writers segment of the song, right? Who wrote it? That's what matters. It doesn't matter that you actually did write it, that you didn't apply formulas, that you actually went with what you have inside and expressed that. That's what art is. So they end up being this frustrated and remorseful and regretful and lying a poser, because that's what they are. And this happens more in pop music, most of all in what this new fad that came out in 2005 and took over, and it's empty intent. There's nothing behind it. There are exceptions of people who actually wrote good songs with that rhythm, right? But most of them didn't make money out of those songs, so they ended up going back to the formula, right? What works: singing the same way, using the same cadence, dressing the same, having the same haircut, using the same wording. Because again, it's formulas that pop, that actually bring that impression to the user. So they become this formula, they become this appearance, they become this presumption of something that is okay to be, that is not judgeable because everybody's doing it. So you become that. You don't become yourself. You don't become a musician. You don't become a real artist. You become a frustrated fool who thinks that they can cheat how they feel or they can cheat who they are. And they think that they can do it forever because of convenience, because it sells, because it's something that does make sense, right? For safety, for security. Just sell over to your the rights to your own feelings and let other people turn them into formulas and catchy things so that you can sell and have enough money, or you can be considered successful. But again, the people who I believe that are the most successful are those who do what they love to do, those who are who they love to be. Not even, the rest of them, the ones that fall under the el que dirán, or what they will say, those are usually the frustrated ones, the Karens, the ones that never dared to do anything, that never actually dared to do anything different than what their parents expected of them, or what society expected of them, or what their church or their God expected of them. And again, if you read the books, of that you tend to throw around whenever somebody's not doing things according to what you feel is correct. But if you read them, if you actually read your book, you'll understand that that's the case. You cannot control anybody. You can only control your experience. And if you don't live your experience, if you don't love yourself by doing so, and if you don't love others, and if you don't become a community, and if you don't intend to work on things that are important, actually important, instead of actually just wasting time on senseless wars and idiocy like accumulation and hoarding and being a dick to other people just because you can, just because it doesn't matter that they die or that they die inside or that they are crippled in any kind of way, as long as you can keep on buying a new boat and a new car each year. It's fucking absurd that we think that, and those people are the ones that actually do the claiming of being religious, right? They're the ones who throw the book at you whenever you're not doing what they think is right. They don't interpret well what that book says. They use it as a justification to act like fucking idiots and act like fucking monkeys, because that's what they are. They are Neanderthals. They don't think about their own convenience. They don't believe that we need to focus on super volcanoes and on comets and on asteroids and on fucking planets that we can't see yet because they don't have a star nearby and they're just floating around, and we don't worry about the sun exploding one day in the right direction that actually fucks us over altogether. We're not focusing on that enough. We're investing on war and on poverty and on keeping people afraid so that profit can happen. We're focused on that, and then we bring to justice, as we call it, justice, a guy that actually is sickened by those kind of people and has a chance and has a plan and does what he did, allegedly, and gave a man a taste of what they do every single fucking day by denying claims, by denying coverage. And they never understand that part. They never bring bring that kind of empathy to their own lives, right? It's better to have profit than to actually comply with what your job is, or to be the insurance that people are buying from you. Because that's what they need. They need insurance or assurance that everything's going to be okay, that they're not going to be losing all of their patrimony just so that you can make another buck. It's fucking disgusting, man. And whenever, I gotta be honest, I'm not a violent person, and I don't condone violence at all. But when I saw that guy do that in the video, and what the message was, and the bullets and all that, and you said, you know what, dude, it's good that you guys got to put everything private and to be more in your home and to get afraid of what might have happened to you, because you have that kind of conscience. You know that you're doing things wrong, so you hide, you evade. That's what you do as well when you're faced with your accountability, or with facing the consequences of your actions. Then you lie and you divert and you shamelessly say things that are not going to help anything. It's just gonna help your ego not get caught, but you're already caught. We can understand your way of thinking because of your actions, It doesn't matter that you tell me that you believe in a God or in a prophet when you don't fucking care about other people. So don't say that. You're not religious. You're just a fucking idiot who doesn't care about other people. You only care about yourself. So it ends up being that vicious cycle because you are a fucking idiot to other people, and then other people tend to react through retaliation, through violence, through vengeance and all that stuff that doesn't help anything either, because no matter how much you try to get vengeance on somebody, you're still going to feel empty because of what they did to you. Instead of trying to learn and be, instead of trying to be better and be a person that learns from that kind of mistake and just pulls away from that kind of person and learns to identify that kind of person so that you cannot be engaged again by one of them and fooled by one of them. That's the way that you actually learn. That's the way that you become better than them. Not by being the exact same to them or to other people. Just be better than them and don't retaliate. It's hard sometimes. It's fucking impossible when it comes with children. When it comes to children, for example, it's fucking impossible not to want to retaliate in the worst possible way. We have to try, at least with everything else. We need to try to not retaliate, to try to understand that those are damaged people who never learned about love from their parents because their parents also were victims of no attention and no love. And that's why they turned out to be the way they were. They didn't pay attention to you because maybe they didn't even want to have you. Maybe they didn't even want to be married to each other, but they had to because of convenience or because of pride or because of she or he will be mine, right? And then you go through all these things that only fuck everything up. And then they just become these. Yeah, that's. I lost the train of thought, but yeah, Luigi did a bad thing that wasn't that bad, according to my point of view. And I'm not being unsympathetic to the family of that person, right? But we do have to take into account that actions have consequences, and those kind of people don't show any kind of consequence because they can buy laws, they can buy intention, they can buy regret, they can buy everything because we allow them to. And if we just don't allow them to be as important as to be able to get away with those kind of things, then we will be okay. We won't have to depend on those kind of people to do things, right? And to actually progress, not sustainable progress, not something that depends on fossil fuels or things that we don't need to do anymore because it only damages our own experience. We have enough manpower, we have enough imaginations, we have enough abilities and physical traits, and we have enough technology to actually do things that allows us to have more free time if we just stop funneling all of our money to those kind of hoarders, to those sick people, because they are sick in the mind. And we tend to defend them because we think that's success, because we hope that someday we'll be able to have that kind of wealth as well. But why would you want to have that kind of wealth? What good is it going to do to you? If you're not happy with that money, I fucking assure you that you will be not happy with money, and you can see it every single fucking day almost. An artist uninstalls themselves or has a divorce or does something to their child, to their children, or abandons them, or it's all of that. It's because you're not with the person you're supposed to be. You force things. And that's why it's going like shit. That's why hard decisions are hard to make. But if you do the hard choice when it's the right choice, then you'll be able to have a happy and easygoing life. No matter if you want to jump from a building or be a doctor or from a building with a bungee cord or with a parachute or if you want to throw yourself out of airplanes, or if you want to play something, some kind of game, or if you want to do whatever it is that you want to do with your life, if you're not doing that, you're losing time, you're wasting time. That's the only thing that's happening. You're not being successful because successful people do what they love, are who they love to be, and surround themselves by people who love them as well, and he loves them or she loves them, because you know how to identify love because of the intention, because of the action, and you're not staying around. That's why freedom is an essential part of freedom and respect are essential parts of love, because you understand that love requires you to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do, not betray, not lie, not cheat, but what you actually want to do, and you're honest with yourself, and you don't even have to lie anymore. Everything just falls into place. That's at least my experience. And there are things that we need to accommodate to socially. I understand that for the time being, I think they're okay to do. But there are also things that we are doing that we're not supposed to be doing anymore, like using money. I mean, we give value to things. We give value to our time as workers. We give value to everything. So why are we depending on something like money to do things anymore? With all this technology, with all this communication abilities, and with all this imaginations that we have, why do we need to be fighting over resources that we could be sharing everything and actually doing things according to our abilities? And that's when we'll be able to progress better. Not by fighting, not by trying to make our friends richer than they already are. None of you is going to be able to spend all that money, not you, not your children. So why the fuck do you keep on trying to have a bigger cock than the other guy? That's your ego. It's unchecked. You didn't let it know that you knew who you are, that you knew who you loved and what you wanted to be in life. You let it control those decisions for you, which are essential not to lose control over. So when you let unchecked ego make those kind of decisions for you, you end up being something that you're not, or doing something that you don't want to do, or being with people who you don't want to be with just because it's convenient or because they're pretty. That's ego, man, and it's draining you away. It's gonna end your life. Even if you keep on breathing, you're not gonna be alive. You're gonna feel empty, and you're gonna be having midlife crises, and you're gonna be an asshole to everybody else. That's why people. And again, this is not something that because I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. No, I just seen it. I see it every day. People who are greedy, who are selfish, who are not empathetic, who are always trying to get more for themselves, and doesn't matter that you take away from others. Those kind of people are never happy. They claim to be religious, they claim to be in love, but they don't know what love is because they don't understand that simple concept of what their fucking religion is telling them to do. Love themselves, love others. That's it. Check every single book that you want to read them all, and you'll understand that that's the message. And when men's unchecked ego gets into writing things on that page, it's noticeable because it's violent, because it's contrary to a decent life. Not even the part about you needing to be not even the part about you needing to be a virgin I'm not sure if that's something that is important anymore, because purity is about your spirit, about your intention. It has nothing to do with the vagina or the penis that are intended to be used. So if you're a virgin or not, it doesn't matter. That doesn't give you value or take value away from you. You're a person who's trying to live an experience. If that experience involves a lot of dicks, or that experience involves a lot of vaginas, then that's fine. Use it. Just educate yourself on how to use it well enough so that you don't get sick, so that you don't get other people sick, so that you are able to enjoy it without remorse and without risking a pregnancy with somebody that you enjoy being intimate with, but you wouldn't have a child with in a million years because they're not ready for it. And that's fine. You can see things like that, and I did. That's what I did. I saw things like they were, and I took the necessary risks, took the necessary precautions when necessary, and then we just we experienced ourselves, and that's what I intended to do every time. I didn't want convenience or a pretty face being the only motivator for my interaction with somebody else in that kind of level, right? I always tried to get to know the person, always tried to worry about them and to be there for them. And I was jealous at times, and I was explosive at times, but I learned from those experiences, and I didn't do the ones that impacted their experience or the other people's experience in a negative way, because I don't like when that happens to me, that somebody else's experience actually impacts me in the negative way. I tend not to let it go to that level. So when I understood that, and again, thanks to MJ, then I was able to express myself in a more in a freer way with the people that I was with. And it's fine because again, I always, after the first or second jealousy fit, I didn't feel right with it. So I heard, somewhere that freedom, love is freedom, and that's true. And when I understood it, then I started applying it because it took years for me to understand it and actually apply it to my life. But yeah, love is like that Tool lyric, that line from the Tool song, "We are eternal. All this pain is an illusion." I for more times than I wanted to understand it, and read it over and over and again because I read it and I said, there's something important in that sentence, but I didn't understand why. And the MJ allowed me to understand that in an easier way because I've heard people that are very, very old say these kind of things, and they're recently just understanding it. And I was able, or fortunate enough, to understand it earlier in life. I started smoking MJ when I was 26, 27 years old. So it's only about 20 years already. And when I started making that record, that's when I started trying to understand that phrase or those kind of phrases in life, those kind of actions in people. We are eternal because we are atoms, because we recycle ourselves and become other things. That's what I think that resurrection and karma are about, right? About you being able to experience other things, to actually have other experiences as an animal, as an insect, as water, as whatever it is. Atoms become part of other things. So it's important for you to understand or it was important for me to understand that concept. And we are eternal because energy never actually ceases to exist. It just transforms itself, and atoms are energy. They're protons and neutrons interacting with each other and forming bonds and forming connections, and that's what we're all about. We are eternal. We are experiencing ourselves subjectively because it depends on every single one of our experiences and how we want to use it. All this pain is an illusion because, yeah, it hurts, but in the general sense or in the global sense of things, you will be okay. It's not an illusion in the sense that it should teach you things, but it's an illusion in the sense that it is temporary. You're not subject to eternal pain in this existence. And some people take it that way because they're never taught that the experience is what matters. And they do have horrible things done to them. And I understand that I will not be able to get that, right? Because I was never, for example, molested as a child. But it is something that I am empathetic towards, and I don't wish it on anybody. And I understand, and I know that if you are yourself, you will be, even if you have the kind of intention, you will be able to behave in a manner that will enable you to not affect anybody else's experience in a negative way, especially children, because they can't understand your actions. And so there are some perverted people who actually take advantage of children, and they do so just because of, again, religious intentions, right? Religion's rules, that concept of virginity being somehow important. It's not. It's not at all. You can give it value if you want, but it has no value that could impact your experience in that way. You will enjoy the first time, maybe not, especially women. But it will be an enjoyable experience the more you do it, because you learn, because you use your vagina, because you use your penis, and if you don't, then you're just basically saying that God made a mistake giving your penis and a vagina and giving you the ability to have an orgasm. That it just was a mistake. You said that God doesn't make mistakes, so where's the logic in your reasoning then? Why do you give so much importance to something that doesn't have it? And you make people be something that they're not just because they're not able to enjoy that part of themselves. And I'm just not talking about sex only. I'm talking about the whole experience. People do think that they should act in a way according to what's right, according to what is supposed to be done, right? So that's why El Que Dirán is so hard to get out of your system, out of your rotation, out of your routine. it's very, very important not to let that happen. And MJ allowed me to see that clearly and to actually start enjoying my life because I was trying to be something that other people thought would be important or successful. I was going by the guide. I was towards getting a good job, towards getting a good car and a house and a family and white picket fenced property and all that, right? And it's something that I was taught that I wanted, not something that I really ever thought about. So it just stuck with me, and until I was able to get it off of me and stop giving me that pressure. That's why I had a child until I was very late, because I was very late in life. I was 37 when my kid was born, because I tried to figure out who I was first, what I wanted, and I actually enjoyed doing it for a while. And so that whenever I had a child, I didn't have the excuse to say, oh, I'm a parent now, so I'm not able to enjoy my life anymore. And I keep on enjoying my life because I do what I love, and I have a good job, and I have a great wife, and I have a great child, and it's hard at times being a parent, but it's something that I don't change for anything in life, and I don't regret ever waiting this long to actually purposefully become a parent, and with somebody who actually wasn't the same wavelength as me, because me and my wife just connect, and it's something weird because she's beautiful. I'm not that good looking, but she's beautiful. But I usually don't go out. I didn't go out with those kind of people, right? White people. I don't. It wasn't something that was on my menu. But again, I let go, and she was actually a little heavier than she's right now when I met her. So it was hard because I wasn't ever with somebody who was heavy in an intimate sense. But I got to know her for a year before I actually met her physically, and that actually helped a lot. Because when I got to meet her and got to see her reactions and got to see her smile and how she was, and she wasn't actually different than what she described to be when we spoke in that year, then it didn't matter anymore that what kind of skin she had, or if she was heavy or not, or if she was the kind of woman that I usually hung out with. It didn't matter anymore because I was falling in love with her. And it's been 10 years already, 12, 11, almost 12 years already. And I'm still in love with her, like the first day that I realized that I was. And yeah, we've had a couple of discussions, but it's not as many as my parents had, for example. They usually never were. Most of the time they were apart. They were not speaking terms. Throughout my childhood, one of my best memories is of them actually kissing one day and me hopping in by mistake and saying, oh my God, they're kissing. And then I quickly turned around and went away, right? But when I left that moment, I just smiled. It made me very happy that my parents were kissing, actually. I'd never seen them kiss before, not like that. But then again, all the awful moments, I tried not to let them replace that moment, because that was a very good moment in my childhood. That, and when I gave my mom a flower when I was very little, and to see her smile. Nobody told me to do it. I just did it, and she just smiled. I have those two moments, and I have a lot of moments more to say, but the point is that I didn't let those be opaqued or drowned by the noise of what negative things happen, right? And not all of us are able to do that, and I understand that. I'm empathetic with people who are not able to do that themselves. But it's something that needs to be learned and to be applied, because it's important to be yourself. It's important not to conform to whatever anybody else wants or expects from you. That's not healthy. It's not going to lead you to anything good for you. It may make your parents proud, but they already also most likely wasted their lives doing what their parents told them to do, and they're not happy maybe with themselves, with each other, with you, because they may think it's an obligation to think that they're proud of you or to say that they're proud of you, but they may not have it. Again, may not have even wanted to have you. may not even wanted to marry each other. They just did it because easier decisions are easier to make than hard ones. It's easier to not feel alone than to actually make the conscious decision to be alone, and it doesn't matter if you die alone as long as you're happy. And when you realize that, you understand love as well in that sense, because you stop depending on somebody else to be happy. You stop letting other people make you happy. You just make yourself happy, and if they want to share that, that's fine. And you realize that saying this is very important. If you're not happy with me, if you at any moment want to leave, don't cheat on me, don't lie to me, don't say anything, don't do anything bad. Just tell me. Just tell me, and we'll go apart, and I'll do the same for you, because I don't want to obligate anybody to be with me, or I don't want to force anything. That's not what love is about, and it never is. So jealousy and obsession and all that, that's not love. It's never going to be love. If somebody's jealous of you, they don't love you because they don't trust you. And love, again, the third thing that is very important for love is trust, and that again comes along with respect and comes along with freedom. It's a whole concept that it's only positive things. And yeah, it comes with pain, because loving something is an eventual pain on your end. It may be a degraded one, or it may be an immediate one, but it will be pain. And you'll be able to learn from that pain, and you'll be able to not make the same mistakes. But if you keep on doing the same thing because it's easier to do that, or it's easier to do the same things that your parents did just because of inertia, it's not going to work for you. I'm sorry to say that you're not going to be happy. No matter how much you want to force it, how much you want to comply with others' expectations, you're never going to be happy. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much people say they love you, but in those circles, with there's money involved, there's I don't see love. I see convenience. I see regret. I see forcefulness. I see obligation. I don't see anything that has to do with love. Not respect. Not love. Not empathy. Not anything that's actually positive. So again, if you want to be a musician, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, be that for your own sake. Don't. This is another thing that's also important. If you are in the middle of a career, there's a lot of examples of people who have actually deferred to another career, or just entirely gave up on school, and they were very successful doing what they love, what they actually found. But they found that thing that they wanted to do, because again, nihilistically, life makes no sense. It's a good thing to notice, because it's going to end at one point. So what does it matter? How is it possible that we're conscious? So if it makes no sense, then give it sense. And that's the ability of your brain to do that, the ability of your own intentions. Life doesn't suck, I promise you it doesn't. What sucks are your decisions. Don't make the easy decisions to have a life. Make the hard one so that you can have a wonderful one. And we'll talk about this later on. Thank you for listening if you did. Have a great one.